Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Hari Radha Madhava Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Gaura Pimanande Jayam Supada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Kirabai Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada Ananta Koti Vaishnavi Skandibiti Namaskariya Sri Tabakti Ki bhagavatam ki Jainitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada ki. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Chakshurunmiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhuttade Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatan Vitam Tvam Sadivam Devam Sri Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Devisakan Vitam Sya Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Maha Narayanam Namaskritya Dharam Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamaloke Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki. By regularly hearing Bhagavatam, by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is awesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasmitam Utamashloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled of incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara
Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Sarabhyai Namaha
Om Surabhyaya Namaha
Om Sarabhyai
Om
Namaha
Surabhyaya Namaha
Om Sarabhyai Namaha
Om Surabhyaya Namaha
Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangom Langayate Girin Yat Kripatamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Yat Kripatamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning bhagavatam class. We are continuing from Canto number 1, chapter 9, prayers by Queen Kunti. Mm. And today, text number 39. 39. Neyam
Neyam
Sobhishyate
Subhishyate
Tatra
Tatra
Yathedanim
Yatedanim
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Twat
Tat
Padair
Padayai
Ankita
Ankita
Bhad
Bhati
Sva
Swa
Lakshana
Lakshana
Vilakshitaha
Vilakshitaha
Vilakshitai
Vilakshitai
Neyam Shobhishyate Tatra
Vishyate Tatra
Yathedanim Gadadhara
Yatedanim Gadadhara
Tvatpadaya Ankita Bhati
Tatpadairankita Bhati
Swalakshana Vilakshitai
Svalakshana Vilakshitai
Neyam Shobhishyate Tatra
Neyam Shavishyate Tatra
Yathedanim Gadadhara
Yatedanim Gadadhara
Tvatpadaya Bhati
Tatpadairankita Bhati
Swalakshana Vilakshitai
Svalakshana Vilakshitai
Neyam Shobhishyate Tatra
Neyam Shavishyate Tatra
Yathedanim Gadadhara
Yatedanim Gadadhara
Tvatpadair Ankita Bhati
Tatpadairankita Bhati
Swalakshana Vilakshitai
Svalakshana Vilakshitai Niyam Shobhishaste Niyam Shobhishyate Tatra
Neyam Shobhishyate
Shavishyate
Tatra
Tatra Yate Yate Danim Gadadhara
Yathedanim Gadadhara
Tatpadair Ankita Bhati
Tvatpadair Ankita
Bhati
Bhati
Svalakshana Vilakshitai
Salakshana Lakshitai
Neyam Shavishyate Tatra
Neyam Shabhishyate Tatra
Yatedanim Gadadhara
Yatedanim Gadadhara
Tatpadair Ankita Bhati
Tvatpadairankita Bhati
Salakshana Vilakshitai
Salakshana Vilakshitai Na
Na
Not
Not
Iyam
Yam
This land of our kingdom
This land of our kingdom
Shabhishyate
Shavishyate
will appear beautiful
will appear beautiful
Tatra then
then
yatha,
yatha
as it is now,
as it is now,
idanim,
idanim
how, gadadhara,
gadadhara,
hmm, O Krishna,
O Krishna,
tvat,
tvatat
your,
your
padai,
padai
by the feet,
by the feet,
ankita,
ankita
marked,
marked,
bhati,
bhati
is dazzling,
is dazzling,
hmm. Salakshana,
salakshana
your own marks,
your own marks,
virakshitai,
vilaksitai
by the impressions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
jai.
O Gadadhar, Krishna, the kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your lotus feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. May you repeat after me. O Gadadhar Krishna,
O Gadadhara Krishna,
mm, our kingdom is now being marked
our kingdom is now
by the impressions of your feet,
by the impressions of your feet,
and therefore it appears beautiful.
and therefore it appears beautiful.
But when you leave,
But when you leave,
it will no longer be so.
it will no longer be so.
Purport. There are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of a flag, a thunderbolt, an instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc., are on the bottom of the Lord's feet. These marks are impressed upon the soft dust of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapura was thus marked while Lord Sri Krishna was there with the Pandavas. And the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. Kunti Devi pointed out these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord. Translation again, O Gadadhar Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. So Queen Kunti Devi is meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord and pointing out that if you, when you leave, then the transcendental marks of your lotus feet, that means Krishna was walking bare feet.
Yeah, that's the question. I've never heard. Generally, no one is walking
Well,
barefoot.
Krishna every day walks bare feet when he goes with the cows.
Yeah, but not in Dwarka, not in Hastinapur,
Uh,
and it's not the same.
yeah, Singapore is full
There are
of
roads.
roads. Yes,
This comes together.
yes. Krishna's pastimes are inconceivable and mysterious.
You're supposed to give an answer.
That's my answer.
That's not. That's just an introduction.
Actually, this brings up the whole very important topic of what is auspicious and what is not auspicious. I mean, in other words, for example, it is nicely described in in understanding the daily activities of a king. Krishna was a king, played the role of a king in Dwarka. Of course, whatever role Krishna plays, um, the same concept and understanding is there. It is described how um, in the early morning, when a king would, uh, after rising, he would uh, look at things which are auspicious. There are certain things, like cows, for example. This is nicely explained that he would make sure before going to the assembly, he would have darshan of the cows. He would have darshan of I forget exactly.
Also offer arti.
There are different things that are all of these, let's say, auspicious objects is like having darshan of ghee, having darshan of chamara or cow feather. These are all things that help us to remember Krishna. That's the point that's being made here. That, of course, devotee is focusing on the lotus feet of the Lord and the different impressions that his feet are making. I don't think Krishna was walking all the time bare feet, but just like, in here, we sometimes, when we are living in nature, it's uh, more natural to walk bare feet. As a matter of fact, I mean, it's actually recommended health-wise to be in contact with Mother Earth. Uh, who was mentioning that it's like massaging or it's like therapeutic?
Architherapy, acupressure therapy.
Acupuncture. Yes. Mother Earth is massaging the lotus feet of devotees when they walk bare feet on the land. So the the what do you call it? The soul, the underneath the feet. Um, the Lord's um, the Lord is having all of these different impressions, which are listed here, um, conch shell and thunderbolt, etc. The instrument for what is it
Push.
to drive elephants. So, uh, in other words, when we are especially um, not having these different um, auspicious signs, like in Vedic culture, auspicious sign, auspicious activities are connected with like yajna, isn't it? When we were talking about King Vena the other day. King Vena is that personality who did away with all the auspicious signs and auspicious activities because he was against the Brahmanas. He was against dharma. Um, so, in other words, when the Lord this is what is being conveyed here. My dear Krishna, uh, we we can easily remember you um, because of the impressions of your lotus feet that we can see, and therefore uh, we are in this way reminded of you. But now you will be going away, and you will be taking all of those impressions with you, because those impressions will, and therefore we will be devoid of your of those lotus feet, of the impressions that are left on the soil So we can understand this, at least this little realization that we should have, is that the more we distance ourselves, the more we separate ourselves from so many very important aspects. For example, in India, very different from other countries. In India, when you go to a village, practically in every home, even to this day, you find tulsi. Tulsi is there, isn't it? Because although they may not, village people may not do the kind of elaborate tulsi puja that we do in temples, but they will generally do water. They might also circumambulate. They know it's part of the culture, isn't it? So wherever there is that culture, Vedic culture, the culture of Sanatana Dharma, there are all of these different features: the presence of cows, the presence of ghee, the presence of samara, the presence of conch shell, isn't it? The sound of conch shell uh, drives away bad spirits, bad elements. When Srila Prabhupada was here uh, in Mayapur, whenever he would spend time in Mayapur, he would have our two head pujaris at the time, Janani Vasprabhu and Pankanjangri, uh, along with so many, it was like a whole procession in the evening, Sandhya. He instructed them every Sandhya, you have to go. At that time, there was only Lotus building. You have to take incense. You have to have a conch shell, and you have to have this. It makes a lot of smoke. What is it? Um, they put on the fire.
Google. Samrani.
Yeah. Anyways, they use it in the church a lot, and you have to go around and chanting Hare Krishna. This way, all the inauspiciousness that might be there will go away and will be driven away.
You have rooms.
Yeah, in Prabhupada's room, and
Every room.
yeah, and on the veranda, and so it was like a whole event,
Yeah.
like a whole jagya practically. So it means that actually, um, within the Vedic culture, we have these built-in practices, these built-in auspicious activities and auspicious signs, um, which actually create a favorable atmosphere. Um, in other words, uh, Krishna, and these are representing Krishna or an extension of Krishna as well, because they are all, paraphernalia that is used. For example, incense. Every day we worship the Lord with incense. Every day we worship the Lord with, dipa, with lamp, etc. And all of these help to maintain at least, well, actually, because they're offered to Krishna, because they're connected with Krishna, they create, I was going to say, an atmosphere of goodness, but actually they create beyond that a spiritual atmosphere, isn't it? Which, of course, can help us understand that unless we are taking shelter, unless we are living within a spiritual atmosphere, ultimately, unless our consciousness is also in this way spiritualized, and unless all of our activities are performed for the pleasure and satisfaction of Krishna, then it will become inauspicious. And that's why today in the world, there is so much of calamities and so much of inauspiciousness, because we have disconnected ourselves, isn't it? The whole process, for example, of, well, the whole modern activities of increased industrial life, industrialized, industrialized lifestyle, um, where we have actually physically left villages. I mean, we've abandoned the more natural uh, way of living, the more simple activities. Uh, we we always come back to this very important example of agriculture because we can, I would say, we can more easily relate to that example of land. Um, and Krishna has devised a simple, natural way to actually uh, get from the land what we need for our basic necessities of life. But because in modern day society we're not following those um, guidelines that are given in the Shastra, we're rather inventing. We were reading in the last few days how the more we rely on our own independent way of thinking, then we introduce all kinds of uh, activities based on adharma, isn't it? Uh, so this important lesson for us that the more we want to create a peaceful atmosphere which is uh, in line with the principles of dharma, then we will want to um, understand what is um, given in the shastra, and we will live based on what is explained in the shastra. We will live according to what Krishna personally demonstrates. That's why we so often give that example, because ultimately that is meant to be the primary meditation of devotees. Uh, Vrindavan, the Vrindavan pastimes, the Vrindavan lifestyle, which is meant to be a lesson for us, both in terms of the spiritual aspect, the spiritual dimension, where all the residents of Vrindavan, man mana bhava mad bhakto mam yajimam namaskuru, they're constantly in that mood of remembering Krishna, and that is actually the perfection of life as well. So the more we create a material situation that favors, that helps, that supports and assists that more natural ability to remember Krishna, and therefore, again, coming to the example of agriculture, people, farmers, isn't it? Farmers would, before beginning their activities, they would worship the land, isn't it? There are different prayers in the Shastra that before you start plowing the land, for example, they would worship the cows, they would worship the land, etc., like that. And they would have different festivals in glorification of the Lord, understanding that actually the Lord is providing uh, through His nature, isn't it? And this is the type of understanding. This is the type of consciousness that great devotees like Queen Kunti Devi are aware of, and depend upon as well. But now, Krishna, you're going away. We won't see the imprints of your lotus feet um, as we do when you are physically present. Uh, so I don't know. Maybe somebody would have to make a little survey as to how often Krishna was wearing shoes and not, or where. In Vrindavan, we know for a fact he was not wearing shoes. Um, it's not that shoes were not there, but Krishna was bringing Nanda Maharaj's wooden shoes.
Yeah, some versions.
Yeah. Uh, so I guess it's like, you wear certain kinds of clothes for certain activities. You wear shoes for certain, um, at different times. Um, so these
And
are,
they have to wear shoes, otherwise the shoemaker cannot
yeah,
survive.
yes, he'll be out of a job.
They're making nice shoes, so someone have to take it, someone have to,
Yes, shoes have their place.
like Prabhupada. Anything you give to Prabhupada, he started to use.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
at least for a few days.
Correct. Yes, yes, yes.
So
Then
it's
it
really
became prasadam.
personal, just accept every gift and they use it and then they use it.
Correct.
And the next person maybe just worship it. But
Yes, yes. So the topic is on shoes this morning, but not any shoes. Krishna's Krishna's shoes, and the topic is on shoes and feet. Not any feet and not any shoes. Krishna's. Yeah.
but
But
I think after the French Revolution, uh, people just lost the taste of being part of the parties and such a nice groups which really appreciate the beauty, the, the, the art, the music, come together,
mm,
have a pleasure like here, some band comes nicely playing something, we listen, we listen, see the dancing
yes,
groups come, so it's like afternoon life
yes, yes,
and culture life, and you are invited to the neighbor because they have a child just born. You go there with all the families,
yes,
and you bring some gift, and they receive you, and they offer some nice something. It's
yes, yes.
it's it takes time after 3 o'clock to evening,
Right.
and then you have a all day festivities. Some
Yeah.
light festivities, not necessarily like jumping up and down all night like Sri Chaitanya did, but
Right. Right.
Vaishnavas could do that also.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like a culture which totally just lost.
Yeah. Practically. Well, that's largely because we have, this whole Western mentality of producing and ultimately Prabhupada explains what is the root cause. What is the root cause of modern day society is that we have rejected or have forgotten that actually the goal of life is to please Krishna. And we're trying to please ourselves, isn't it? We're trying to be happy independently from Krishna. And, the symptom of Kali Yuga, I think it's somewhere in Mahabharata that the symptom of Kali Yuga is um, connected with machines. We're inventing different machines and becoming dependent more and more on different machines. For example, I mean, these cell phones that we carry, practically speaking, we cannot be separated from. We become so dependent on them, and we've heard of incidences where people like sleep with their cell phone, and if it's under the pillow, sometimes because there's too much pressure, it explodes. um, of course, it may not. It could explode at any time, and I think it does as well. The more we surround ourselves with all kinds of machine, which is designated or described as falling in the category of a hard technology. They have that term, as opposed to what is known as soft technology. Hard technology is like tractors, machines, airplanes, uh, technology that requires a lot of energy, a lot of finances, to make an airplane, to make a tractor. You need factories. You need mines. You need to extract the raw materials. You need to convert those, and it's like extremely very expensive now. Oil, for example, they're getting oil in the middle of the ocean, or what they call offshore. Um, maybe not in the middle of the ocean, but generally within, I don't know, 20 kilometers or whatever from the shore. And at such tremendous risk and expense and danger, and at the cost of so many lives, and that's simply taking us away from what is our real goal and purpose of life, and therefore no wonder, no wonder people are not happy. No wonder people are, distressed and committing suicide and all kinds of um, reactions to what is less and less natural, isn't it? That's why Prabhupada labeled modern day society as being very artificial, isn't it? Very unnatural, and therefore cannot continue indefinitely. It is not sustainable. Whereas the lifestyle and yeah, the nice customs which are there, people would be satisfied by these. They would have actually what ultimately we are all longing for is personal relationship, isn't it? We are by nature seeking and needing these types of natural personal relationships without just very natural, the origin of which is Krishna's relationship with all the living entities, isn't it? And to actually re establish that original pure relationship with Krishna, we are meant to um, to begin actually amongst individuals. I mean, that's one of the foremost aspects of our Vaishnava culture, is that it is stressed upon so much, isn't it? How to avoid, offending anyone who is especially practicing Krishna consciousness, who is a devotee. Of course, our philosophy is to avoid offending or causing any kind of uh, discomfort to any living entity, to any living entity. So, yes, when we can uh, have that understanding that the primary uh, objective of life actually is to revive our original consciousness and ultimately to go back home, back to Godhead. So when that is absent, then we have what we have today all over the world, and therefore um, it just creates a very ultimately very hellish condition for everyone. So therefore, um, one of the important programs of Srila Prabhupada was actually to again, to return or to revive this this culture which we read about in our Shastra, and that so many great personalities, beginning with Lord Krishna himself, personally lived and demonstrated, isn't it? Where it's so important, I mean, where it is absolutely essential to have the presence of cows. And of course, so many people, even devotees, understand, yes, this is actually a very important part of our culture, but the modern day uh, lifestyle and culture does not favor that because everyone has to travel. No one is localized, isn't it? That's a main feature of modern day society. Everyone has to travel to go to work, and to have a cow means you have to be at one place because cow needs our attention like every day, um, including so-called holidays. But we see actually, one devotee yesterday was sending me a note I was telling to Rameshwar Prabhu. He was just informing me that tomorrow or today I'm leaving for, um, he's in South India and he's going with some other devotees on Padayatra walking to Tirupati. This was a common activity actually. I mean, I've seen groups, they do it every year in Maharashtra. They go to Pandharpur. And how they go to Pandharpur?
by walk,
By walking bare feet.
barefoot.
And they take their cows.
Yes.
They go by bullock.
Bullock cart.
Yes. And it's like, they wherever they stop, taking rest or for a meal, they just get a few rocks on the side of the road, and they make their fire, and they cook very simple, and like this. I mean, it was common. That's why Prabhupada wanted us to actually introduce, which was done. Loknath Maharaj was directly uh, given that instruction by Srila Prabhupada to go on Padayatra. And Padayatra, of course, has gone all over India and in so many countries as well. Hungary included, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
next year we have a 2 month
2 months, huh?
Padayatra. No, it was 2 3 weeks.
Ah, okay.
Nice places.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, I mean, otherwise people fly, right? You don't get to see anything or go by car. Now they have super highways and you don't, before you could go in the interior and have nice darshan and whatnot, see cows. Now you're on the super highway, and super highways are generally straight, and it's like, you fall, it's crazy, you know. So the more we go away from what is more natural, then, and of course the most natural is Krishna. He's the origin of all nature, of all beauty, of all things that are attractive actually to living entities, to human beings. Um, so this is the prayer again of Queen Kunti Devi. O Radha Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave it, or when you leave, it will no longer be so. Yeah. Um, I mean, wearing tilak, isn't it? I read, I heard, I have not read it, I've not seen it in the book as such, but I heard that um, previously, when it was like common practice to wear tilak, right? I mean, it was, that was the norm. People were pious,
Yes,
were
we put
religious.
some kumkum also. That's the
Yeah, different signs were there. But what I heard was that uh, previously, when it was the practice to wear tilak, if you came across someone who was not wearing tilak, you became impure, and you had to jump in the river to take a bath. We're a long way from that there. I mean, we would be constantly jumping in the pond if we had to do that today, or we'd have to spend our whole life there because we're surrounded by people. And now, in different countries in the world, they are introducing legislation that do away with all kinds of religious signs because it's disturbing to some people. They're doing that, yeah. It's like,
modern day education. They are telling that you should not wear
huh?
bangles.
Bengal.
Yeah, you should not wear bangles and so many.
Yeah, previously.
Now also it is happening in schools and colleges.
They're having laws not to wear all these things. Yeah. Because we're dealing more and more with machines, isn't it? We're living in the age of technology, the age of iron is an age of machine. So we are becoming more and more machine-like, isn't it? Yeah. And that is, of course, machines are machines. They're not human. So that means we're becoming more inhuman in our thinking, in our dealings, etc. And therefore, we're losing this this what is meant to be the natural sensitivity. Whenever you see, we're doing things in a rush, isn't it? We're the whole modern society is a busy society. People have no time, and what we're doing, we're not doing with quality. We're doing it in a rush. Even
Maharaj, because love disappears, just remains something selfish need. You serve me,
yes,
and if you, it's not coming by love, love means I want to you do something
yeah,
like personally
yes,
to be present. Then I cook a chai, a tea for you,
yes,
anything
yes,
because I see maybe you are a little bit tired,
yes,
so I offer it.
yes.
But if you have a coffee machine, so I
No, really,
cannot do that. So that means there is no need of personal serving each other.
yes,
There is no consciousness of I love that person, so I want to do something.
yes,
That's love. That's bhakti.
yes,
Not just a sentiment.
correct.
And that's when there is missing, then people do their duties by machines because
Yes,
they say, okay, then I'm free.
yes, yes,
It's a kind of
yeah, yeah. Then everything
diabolical.
becomes mechanical.
Yeah,
It's mechanical, and 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 it's not satisfying because we're not machines.
yeah, because
I mean,
whatever you need, just take care of each other.
yeah,
That you feel you are somehow a little bit important for someone else. You're just your presence is not causing disturbance but causing some pleasure.
yes,
That's
yes,
your show.
yes. Which is actually the root of impersonalism.
Yeah, no, they are making an artificial intelligence to discuss with some
Yeah, and that, yeah, just,
house.
Due to that,
no, no, it's like humanity today is gone to the limits of insanity, practically speaking. Isn't it? Yeah. So that is the natural consequence, natural result when we do away with ultimately with Krishna or with principles of dharma, isn't it? And that's why again it's so important because that's the basic feature actually in Vedic education, training young boys, training the younger generation to be conscious, to be well behaved, to be responsible, to be dharmic in all of its different features, and in this way they can actually be um, uh, be happy. They can attain the goal of life, and they can help society in a positive way. Yeah.
The training is very simple. Just take care of them, be with them,
Yes. Yes.
enjoy the afternoon, enjoy the meal together,
Yes. Yes.
have nice discussions, have nice exchange. When anyone has some difficulties, arrange something for that
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very simple the training. Just
Be human.
have a family life,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and then they will appreciate it. They will really grateful. And then they want to repeat it for their relative, their
Correct.
child. So
Yeah.
just have to start again.
Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts, questions on this?
because of this instruments we are producing in the name of modernization and industrialization.
Yes.
Because of this mobile, suppose we talk about mobile nowadays, being born after 6 months, they are addicted to children addicted to mobiles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it
Yes.
is called as autism,
Yes.
even though they are unable to operate that, they are addicted to that.
Correct.
So it is increasing day by day.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Autism children are very much increasing.
Yes.
It's very chaotic.
yeah, it's a very deplorable condition, and it's by uh, cultivating this understanding properly and by introducing it to more
When
people.
we are at the age of 6 or 5, we used to go outside and play in the mud.
Yes,
So then it is said that when we play with mud, the children will develop automatically that what we call
they'll be more
growth,
healthy.
healthy.
Yes,
So they're not now. The children, whoever
yeah,
being born now,
yes,
they
yes.
are unable to play outside the home and
There's no place
on
to
the mud.
play. Yes, there's no mud.
Yeah.
Correct.
Maharaj, these boys, where they will play? What is your plan to allow them after the
Of
school
course.
program to play and get education? How you imagine that? What is
Yes.
your plan?
Well, uh, our place is small, so we will be uh, making arrangements. I mean, some area will be here, and we'll be making arrangements with some local persons who have land who are more like favorable and where we can do different activities that we could not do in the limited space that we have here. For example, learning to be with cows, you know,
Or
uh,
archery?
or, yeah,
Here you cannot
yeah, correct,
because
yeah, yeah, yes.
it's coming and it's
I was just yesterday actually. Our Adhokseta brought me one bowl. So I had a few guests and I was telling them that this is one of the courses we'll be introducing here, but not on the land. So therefore, we want to find some farmer who has maybe a small forest or a bit of land where we could be going. Actually, one of the activities in our Gurukul will very much be in terms of um, outside, just like in the Vedic culture, we have this system of madhukari, that's there in Buddhism also, and we're talking about padayatra. We'll be having every year different, like a 1 month padayatra, going because India is the ideal place. There's so many holy places to visit, and so uh, to a large extent, this is like residence, but most of the activities will actually be outside.
that's for rainy season.
Yes, yes,
Sometimes
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's why it's important. Like in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, it nicely describes how the the friends of Krishna. I mean, it's in the Krishna book. You know, when they are out with cows, they get into all kinds of simple natural games that don't require any
yes,
kind of machines. And in this way, actually, by the process of playing these games, they actually develop all kinds of um, features or aspects in terms of, you know, when especially when one is younger, it's important to have um, this type of association with boys of one's own age, and especially in the more simple and natural environments, which was the case like in Vrindavan, and which is less and less, as you're pointing out, the case in modern day society, where people who live in high rise apartments, they have no place to play. And therefore, yeah, most of the time people from a young, when I travel, for example, and have to wait at the airport, for the flight, you get to observe a little bit what people are doing. And most parents who have children, you know, their small child is to keep him quiet. they have them look at them.
Yeah,
You know.
they don't want to play with the children
Right, right.
because they are not giving time to the children. They were addicted to that mobiles.
Correct.
I remember my grandmother when she was taking care of me. There was no
You
phone,
were
but I
fortunate.
remember we played with this little
Rope.
string,
Yeah, yeah,
put and
yeah, yeah.
forms and give it, get it back.
Right.
Half an hour, 1 hour just
Yeah, correct.
left.
Yes, yes,
And then we're making some nice funny animals from paper,
yes.
cutting it like this
Paper
famous
boats,
famous Japanese play,
We made
make some,
everything.
yeah, make
paper
some
boats, and paper
airplane, make some
flights.
ship and put on the little lake which making garden like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So many things grandmothers, grandfathers can help you
Right,
to play all day long.
right, 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 right.
And if you have some friends together, they just supervise, they just introduce some play, and then after 10 minutes, they do their own job. Maybe they sleep a little bit,
Right,
but
right.
we
Yeah,
play
yeah.
quietly
Yes, yes. No,
because we are guided.
correct,
They
correct.
show how to build a little garden,
Yes.
and one that's your garden, that is tomato, that's
Yes.
and we play like
Right, right,
because
right, right.
imagination is there.
Yeah, yeah. That's practically absent,
Yeah,
more and more absent in modern day.
read together, beautiful story
Yeah, yeah.
about some animals like bunch of I don't know these Indian stories, and then you play
Right.
you
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
5, 10 times the same story. Then children comes together, they make some arrangement, and they immediately play,
Yes.
and they are happy all night,
Correct. Yes,
all
yes.
evening, and they don't disturbing anyone
Right, right.
because they are
Now we are denying these basic necessities actually, which have to do with one's, you know, psychological, emotional
yeah
development, which is not present today. Yeah.
long way to
Just
go back.
All
a few
glories.
days back,
Uh,
our Vishnuratha Prabhu son has came. He was climbing on tree,
ah,
mango tree.
yes,
He's playing in that environment, and he was very enjoying that.
yes, yes,
So
correct.
we can't see that
Right,
because
right,
of
right.
these
We should.
high-rise modern buildings and
Yes, that's why we have our mango grove here.
yeah.
Yeah. So all glories to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna.
Jai.
Yes.
Question. Our Acharya says uh, Brajagopis are most dear to Lord.
Which is most here?
Gopis.
Gopis.
The
Gopis.
gopis. Yes.
But Lord Krishna says teacher who will teaching Krishna consciousness is most dear of me.
Yes.
So
So how to understand this?
who are the most
Uh, Krishna is simultaneous to him, and simultaneously those who preach the glories of the gopis, or those who preach even simple
Gopis
Krishna
are
consciousness.
preaching.
Huh?
Gopis are preaching.
Yeah,
Rupa
gopis.
Goswami, Rupa Manjari is preaching.
Yes, that's another dimension.
Yeah, they have
So,
this kind of capacity to preach and do dance.
yes, both are very dear to Krishna. That's like the in the initial days, devotees would ask Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada was telling them, if you distribute my books, that is most pleasing. And that there was a debate, what is actually most pleasing to Prabhupada. So, because some said that actually, some devotees in the early days, if you don't distribute books, you're in Maya, isn't it? Uh, I mean, there are many activities. Some are more important, more pleasing to Krishna, but Krishna is pleased by all activities which are sincere and meant for his pleasure and satisfaction. So, uh, so both both are simultaneously, inconceivably more pleasing to Krishna.
As a group, we never serve alone. We serve to serve each other for one purpose. So there is a group. One have to cook for the preacher. One have to make shoes for the preacher. And one to have to print the book, which they will. So they are busy to help someone who is at the front, but at the back, much more devotees are very busy to help someone to go and present whatever they prepare. So it's all comes together. Sankirtan means everyone comes together for one goal,
Yes,
which is spreading Krishna consciousness, not just telling about Krishna consciousness. Spreading means showing the example.
yes. Frontline preachers and backline or behind the scenes. We say
Yeah,
behind the scenes. All important. Um,
you tell people that's Krishna consciousness, and they invite to home. At home, you don't see the same culture appear. That people will understand. Oh, they are just
right,
lying, or
right.
maybe not really serious.
Yeah,
So people will feel that if we really follow whatever are in the books or not follow. And in the books, Vedic culture is present, co-protection, everything. So we have to do that,
correct.
and that takes all day. So it's an engagement. So it's not like everyone can go distribute books once a month or sometimes.
Right.
They
Yeah.
replace each other. That's very nice, but
Yeah. Well, some do.
not every day.
Yeah. Well, some devotees do it every day. That's
Yeah.
their specialized kind of
Yeah.
service. But it's it, it cannot be something that everyone does every day because then who's cooking and who's doing so many other things as well. Yeah. Okay. Jai Grantaraj Bhagavatam ki Jai.